Welcome back to the podcast with Joe and Sam talking about
Hi.
baseball. So not
Rule
much has
changes,
happened
I
again,
guess. Yeah, there's rumored rule changes is about it, and
and some other just rumours of free agents, but nothing actually happening.
no, no, it's what pitchers and catchers have actually, I think, started reporting.
Have
Um,
they?
well, no, they do start next week, I think it is.
Okay.
What? Here we are. They start reporting, like, yeah, next week, I think.
It's exciting, isn't it? Almost at spring training.
It's almost baseball season, and teams have not got any of the free agents. The second
Yeah.
best starter on the market's there. One of the best relief pitchers of all time is still available. The ultimate super utility guy is available, and two potential
Two,
future Hall of Famers.
yeah, young stars.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get to that, what's your opinion on the rule changes, Sam?
Um, they're mainly terrible, I think. Just go have a quick look at them. So the three batter minimum. I can get. I could sort of see why you'd want it,
That's like a pace of play thing, isn't it?
but the
Uh,
only thing with that is I haven't read enough on this to be honest. But you couldn't have that in the playoffs. That would be stupid. And it could bring in some strategy, like if you then have to think about longer term
yeah.
matchups.
The thing with
Um,
that as well, though, is that's a weird one to introduce now, don't you think? Because it's, if anything, in the last couple of years, even though relief pitcher use has increased, it's kind of moved away from like lefty specialists and stuff like that. You
yeah,
don't tend to have many one hitter pitchers anymore.
no, and the main time you see that is actually in the postseason, and I think it would be
Yeah.
really foolish to get rid of that.
So I don't know whether that this sort of seems a bit unnecessary now. It's like a few years ago when everyone had like lefty specialists and stuff. If you wanted to prevent that, that would be the
This
time to do it. But
this
that's
seems
like,
like a rule for Bruce Bochy to me. This seems like a
yeah,
Bruce Bochy rule to stop him making pitchers throw one pitch and then changing. Um, and then okay, we'll leave the designated hitter for a minute. The single trade deadline. Why really?
I mean, it's not like it's just a bit meh, isn't it? I don't really. It's not
That
terrible, but
it seems like fiddling with the game for the sake of it. I can't see why there's really a problem with that.
before the
The
All Star
pitch
break
clock,
as well is quite early, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. I don't know why you do that necessarily. I think maybe it's about they're trying to. I guess that's probably a means to stop teams tanking a little bit. Is hope that teams then go, oh well, we shouldn't trade stuff away. Everyone thinks they're still in it, but I
Yeah,
think it's good to allow teams to get assets back. Like if you're going to be out of it and you've got an expiring star, like I think it's better to let them deal them, basically. Um, yeah, they may then be bad for 2 or 3 months, but them getting a prospect back for
yeah.
like a
They're gonna
star
be
player,
good again sooner
yeah,
instead of them just being like just a bit bad for like 10 years.
yeah, which is the worst possible
Let them
thing
be
that could
really
happen.
bad for a couple of months, and then maybe they'll be back again next year.
Yeah. So then the other one is the pitch clock,
Yeah,
um, which
that's
I don't like at all, really. Just I don't see the point.
yeah. It's I don't know. 20 seconds, is that long? I don't actually know like how long it usually takes. To be honest, I don't know when that starts. Is that 20 seconds from when the pitcher gets the ball back?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it
What do they
must be
do
because
about
that
base
doesn't seem
running?
that seems quite long anyway. Again, it's like a little bit. It's not actually going to make that much difference, and it just a few guys that take longer is just going to mess up their stuff and basically just ruin
Yeah,
their thing.
and I don't think rushing pitches so they make more mistakes improves the game, to be honest. I mean, it's cool seeing home runs, but when you get like a hanging curveball down the middle and it gets crushed, that's not as exciting as when you have a proper at bat and you have to
Yeah,
work your way in the count and then like wait for your pitch. If you get the pitch because the pitch has been rushed into throwing it, I don't know. I guess
yeah.
you could argue it's going to make pitches change, but then what
This
happens with base running?
they've
What's
got
that about?
yeah. This is the thing that we've always said, isn't it? When we talked about this, It's like, yeah, when it gets near the end of the clock, surely the guy on first can just run, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like well, you could basically just walk off. Like you just can't hold him on unless every time we do a pick-off throw, it resets the clock. But then that makes it kind of pointless because when you're about to run out of time, you just do a pick-off throw,
yeah. So
and that doesn't
there's
then make the game quicker.
there are practicality issues with this, and I personally think the pace of play stuff is always trying to fix a problem that I don't really see as a problem.
Yeah,
I think like the only way you change pace of play in baseball is like you change the game too fundamentally. It's like if you don't like if you think baseball is too slow, it's not going to get quick enough that you're going to start liking it. Like
no,
that's maybe a problem with people not liking stuff that's a bit slower, but everyone watched the Super Bowl of the weekend, and that is
yeah.
very, very slow. I mean, they take like weeks and weeks reviewing a play for some grey area ruling. Like,
And then you have like a 2 minute break and then 4 seconds to play,
yeah,
followed
I
by
think,
another 2 minute break.
yeah, and you have to listen to some dread awful analysis usually. Um, I think like it's marketing is the issue. If they're concerned, I mean, this is often a bit of a tangent. Like we could do a whole fucking series on this, but like I think
Oh,
that it's marketing should be the issue with the pace of play, not just we're going to change the fundamentals of the game.
yeah, there's a lot of them are about pace of play stuff, aren't they? I think. Well, it's about pace of play and increasing offense is the theme. But the thing is with that is that more runs equals longer game. That's so
Yeah,
it's strange.
yeah, and actually the lower score. I might be an exception to the rule perhaps, but I don't find lower scoring games are worse
No,
necessarily.
I mean it depends. There's more to it than just the scoreline and whether it's a good game or not. I think. I mean you can have really good like 1-0 or like 2-1 games.
Yeah, I
When
find
when it's boring, I think is when you just have like quick at bats and stuff, and just bad at bats.
yeah. So I think like part of the thing with the low scoring games again comes back to how they're covered. When there aren't runs being scored, the coverage of the games is not, oh my God, look at what the pitch is doing.
Yeah,
Most of the time it's not. It's usually about, why is he trying to hit a home run? Just put the ball in play. All right, well, you put the ball in play off Josh Hader. Like when you see Josh Hader come out of the bullpen and shut the door on base runners and throw 3 innings not giving up a hit, that we should be celebrating that. I enjoy watching Hader do that as much as enjoy a 5 run rally. Like that is
yeah.
amazing. The pitching is
It's
amazing. People need to enjoy pitching.
as with anything. I think the variety is needed. It's like if you just get rid of the low-scoring games, which seems to be what they want to do,
Yeah.
it just gets boring. Like
Okay.
high-scoring games are sometimes fun, but you also like to watch low-scoring games as well sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. So you take Game 5 of the Astros and Dodgers in the World Series, one of the best games you'll ever see. But then also Game 7 of the Giants versus Royals in the World Series, an amazing game because of how tense it was because it was low scoring. Like
Yeah,
that's why baseball is brilliant. Is they're both fantastic. Anyway, I think yeah, that's a terrible idea.
was it? And then I mean, they've got the 20-second pitch clock and stuff like that to speed up the game. And then just at the bottom here, they've got the Kyler Murray rule.
Yeah,
I mean, it obviously not called that at the moment, but it seems it's very obvious why they're trying to do that.
yeah.
Which
Which is
I mean, yeah, I reckon surely that one will get through. I don't know why anyone would be against that in baseball. There's
no.
a better chance of convincing like potential star players to play their sport.
Yeah, that rule makes the most sense. And then you've got the expansion of rosters from 25 to 26 with a 12 pitcher maximum.
Yeah, I don't know. That's again that seems to just be unnecessary control. I know it's like it seems just like the old guys that don't like change. It's like want it to go back to how baseball used to be. We don't like all this, bullpen stuff that people do now, like the Rays were doing.
Yeah,
and and again, it's like just for more variety, just makes stuff more interesting.
Yeah,
I think it's fun what the Rays do.
I think this is a response to the free agency and that not very good hitters are not getting contracts. Because what this would do is you give an extra hitting spot basically, and then cap them. It's saying you have to have a certain number of hitters.
Yeah,
And along with them wanting to introduce the DH, what that does is go, why are you not signing another free agent hitter? I don't think it would actually work. I don't think they're going to be compelled to sign hitters that they don't think are good who are asking a lot of money if you give them another roster spot.
yeah. Because the thing is a lot of the time the reason why people aren't getting the contracts is it's not because they're just using pitchers instead. A lot of the
No,
time it's just it's simply they can pick someone up from minor leagues, promote someone from the minor leagues that's like not going to be any worse than some of these guys that are asking for like millions of dollars a year.
no.
It's like just their like recent performance just suggests that they're not any better than a minor league player now, or hardly any better. Not
Definitely
enough
not.
better to be worth the money, basically.
Yeah, when you've got guys asking for 3 years, $50 million and that sort of thing, like why would you not give
It's
someone
like
six hundred thousand grand?
it's like you're like a below league average player. You're like a one WAR player.
Yeah,
Like get someone up from the minor leagues. Well, by the definition of WAR is they're going to be zero WAR probably at least,
yeah.
and if you're lucky, they might do better. But
So
yeah, well, the
I
big
don't
one.
expanding the roster. I don't hate. I mean, I like that's not the worst thing in the world. I think the 12 pitcher maximum is just a like you say. It's basically trying to fight against the new way of doing stuff. I don't have a problem with having more pitchers. Um, but to me it seems very much just like a response to free
Well,
agency. Hitters haven't moved, relief pitchers have. Relief
and
pitchers have got paid.
the other thing with that, people moaning about teams not about stuff not being competitive. Too many teams not being competitive. If you're doing this and you're making everyone play the same way, then you simply the richest teams are just going to be the best. Because by
Well,
playing the different basically a different game, the Rays have managed to be competitive in the division with the Yankees and the Red Sox
but
with
isn't
like
that
a
part of
much
it?
smaller payroll.
Is there is an element of this that some people at least do want big market teams to be successful. They
Yeah,
want money to result in wins. Um, and he's awesome when it doesn't. Like the Athletics and Rays being two of the best teams in the American League last year was fantastic. But I think there is probably a feeling that one, they want big market teams to be successful, and I understand that for the marketing of the
yeah.
sport, but also that they don't necessarily like
Because
teams they consider cheap to be doing well.
I mean, yeah, well, yeah. There's always the argument of that they should spend more money, the small market teams, and maybe they could do. Maybe they could spend a bit more money. But the fact is that they're never going to spend as much as the big market teams. If you just make it so the sport is just about whoever spends the most money always wins, then the Yankees always win.
Yeah, and that's not
Well,
good.
that's what it was like for a long time.
Yeah. Well, and then invention happened, and the Yankees took a while to catch up.
Yeah,
Um, and the trouble is that they're now doing stuff slightly better, and they are going to start
yeah.
winning a
So they
lot.
might just go back to that again soon. But you know, well, we should probably mention the big one. Talk about that a little bit. The big one that's like a been a long discussion.
The DH, the Brexit of baseball,
Universal DH.
it seems to like slice baseball fans down the middle more than anything. It's amazing how tribal people are about the
Yeah,
DH.
and well, as we're Giants fans and watch National League more, probably we're not a fan, are we?
No, and that seems to basically be the rule for the most part. Is if you're a National League fan,
Yeah,
DH is devil. If you're an American League fan, hate pitchers batting, and okay,
yeah. It's there's just more nuance in the game in the National League for like because they don't have the DH.
yeah.
There's a lot of it.
It, it's not as simple. So I saw some people trying to argue pro DH, getting stats out about like how bad pitchers are hitting, how many substitutions actually happen because of
The
the pitcher.
the
But
other
it's not
thing
just that, is it?